Tanino Minneci seems to have a penchant for making you feel good about yourself. Whether it's through his Parkland position as student development advocate at our Center for Academic Success, or through his Tuesday night gig as part of an improv comedy troupe. Today's Parkland Spotlight will be focused on Parkland Pride, a student organization for which Tanino is a staff advisor. Now, what is Parkland Pride, you might ask? I think Tanino has the answer.
So Parkland Pride is a student organization through Student Life that caters to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, ally students. We are an organization that welcomes everybody into the organization, and what we do is talk about LGBTQ issues. We hold events on Parkland's campus to sort of raise awareness about LGBT issues and different sort of causes and things that are coming up. And most importantly, to sort of provide a supportive environment for students to feel safe talking about things that they may not be able to talk about openly at home or other places on campus or in their communities. So.
Now, you explained to me earlier that it is a student organization. Students direct the group, so I was wondering what type of events and activities and activism are the students of Parkland Pride deciding to get involved with?
There are a few days throughout the year that we almost always sort of have an event around. One of them is coming up pretty soon. It's going to be in October. It's National Coming Out Day, and that's sort of raising awareness about not only the struggles of coming out and sort of celebrating those who have taken that step to come out, but also to sort of just raise awareness in general to the wider community about what coming out can do for a person and for the people around them, and how, you know, it can change the world, really.
Yeah.
And then later in the semester, there are other events that we like to sort of bring awareness to. There's Transgender Day of Visibility, Transgender Day of Awareness. Those are two different days that happen throughout the year. We have a lot of members in our Parkland community who identify as trans, and it's all, I mean, the LGBTQ issues have been around for a really long time, but it's only within the past few years that there's been a lot of wider awareness of transgender issues.
Right.
And I think it's really important for us as a Parkland community to start recognizing those issues more and bringing more awareness to other students, to staff and faculty who, you know, often are contacting either the advisors or the members of the group to get more awareness and understanding about transgender issues. We also do an event around World AIDS Day, bringing awareness to that issue. You know, now that there are a lot more medications that help people with HIV and AIDS live very healthy and much longer lives, it's still a big issue. It's
right.
not there's no cure for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it is something that continues to spread, not just through the LGBTQ community, but through all communities. And it's something that, you know, we feel is sort of an important thing for us to recognize and sort of bring awareness around. So there are a lot of issues throughout the year that we'll sort of bring awareness to. Those are just a few. So.
Sounds like a very busy group.
Yeah, it can be.
Have you ever experienced any type of resistance to Parkland Pride or any negative pushback? Yeah.
Sure, yeah. You know, that's one thing that we have sort of an understanding that the LGBTQ issues have permeated throughout sort of social awareness. So people are usually at least aware of it now, where, you know, 20 years ago, there were communities that you didn't even say the word gay, you know?
Right.
But that has left sort of a false impression that it's sort of universal acceptance. And it is definitely not universal acceptance for people who are queer, LGBT. So, yeah, we're a community college. This is a college that brings in people from all different communities around the state. And some of those communities have been a lot more exposed to LGBTQ issues than others. There are still lots of other reasons why people have strong feelings about LGBTQ issues. I mean, in my opinion, it's usually a lack of understanding and a lack of knowledge about sort of the heart of those issues and the heart of the human beings behind those issues. But that doesn't mean that there isn't still resistance and pushback. We've definitely, we'll put up display cases for a lot of these events, or we'll have an event on campus and someone will complain or someone will say that that's inappropriate or whatever. I certainly don't dismiss, those kind of
good for you
suggestions, but at the same time, I think that makes it even more important for a group like ours to exist.
Yes.
And to keep teaching our Parkland community about our issues and sort of helping that understanding spread even further, because we still have a long way to go. As long as that need exists, a group like ours will exist.
You're tuned into the Parkland Spotlight on 88.7 WPCD. Our guest right now is Staff Advisor for Parkland Pride, Tanino Minneci. I asked Tanino what Parkland Pride means to students who have never before encountered an organization specifically for LGBTQ students and their allies.
Every semester, we have a handful of students who have come from much smaller communities than Champaign-Urbana. There's a lot of little towns in central Illinois and beyond. Those communities just have a lot less exposure to groups like Parkland Pride and just to awareness around a lot of these issues. And so we get students every semester from those communities that have never had a supportive environment to talk about these issues. They may never have even spoken about them before, other than maybe to a few close friends or something. And so we've had people talk about in our group how, just having this group there is a huge support for them, because they know that there's somewhere they can go and talk about what's in their mind, and they're not going to get thrown out of the house. They're not going to get called a name. They're just going to be surrounded by a lot of supportive and curious and interested and, loving people. So
I think that is one of the most beautiful things, just about Parkland is Parkland Pride. And a lot of people don't understand, how hard it can be for some people.
Absolutely.
And so, thank you for all of that. What are some things I can do to support events and to support Parkland Pride?
If you see Parkland Pride out in the college center or in the student union promoting something, come out and say hi, because I can't even express how much it means to see allies and other people in the Parkland community, other LGBTQ people in the Parkland community who can't make the events, just come over and say, hey, we're just so glad you're here. Just having them come by the table, say hi to the students, talk to the students, get information. If we've got a jar collecting money, drop a buck in there or whatever. That helps us a lot. If you, like I said, the biggest way to help really is just to come by and show your support. I can't tell you what that means to us as advisors, and more importantly to the students, to show that the Parkland community supports them. So
great. And what are your hopes for Parkland Pride for the future? Where do you hope to see this organization going, and what do you hope to see it accomplish in the future?
That's a really good question. I really like to leave sort of the goals up to the students, but talking from an advisor perspective, I'd love to see the group be able to provide meetings at lots of other times, maybe even sort of have sub-support groups of sponsored by Parkland Pride for different kinds of things. I'd like to see sort of just a social support network of students that can sort of count on each other when they're going through rough times. I'd love to see us be even more active in the Parkland environment. One of the things that I'd love to see is Parkland Pride doing more collaborations with other local organizations, like the Up Center of Champaign County and the U of I LGBT Resource Center. I'd love to see us partner with more events and try to collaborate with more organizations in the community.
That's Parkland Pride Staff Advisor Tanino Minneci. He can be reached at gminneci@parkland.edu. That's GMINNECI. You can also find him every Tuesday night performing a free show with his improv troupe Froman at Clark Bar.